Ladies, gentlemen, dear my brothers and sisters, have a good day. The patience of a century, they tried to drive us out of Anatolia through the Treaty of Sevres and expel us from Europe through Lausanne. We are no longer going to allow anybody to boss us around. Their game is over. Whereas we are just getting started. It was the 96th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Lausanne on Wednesday. The Ottoman Empire had collapsed. The region had collapsed. The Islamic nation had collapsed. Muslim communities living in the vast zone spanning Morocco and Indonesia on the main axis of the earth were completely abandoned and hopelessly destroyed. There was nothing left to get this vast region back on its feet and form a resistance. They tried to drive us out of our homeland through the Treaty of Sevres agreement. It didn't work. Then they drove us from Europe with the Lausanne Agreement Pact. Efforts were being made to drive Anatolia out of history, to wipe the Turks who centralized Anatolia, made history and built the region for centuries. Off the face of the world's political history, Anatolia was being dismissed from the regional and global power domain, condemned to a great breakdown, and constantly forced to mechanisms that would keep it under tutelage. They tried to drive us out of our homeland through the Sevres Pact, and Anatolian resistance spoiled this game. They failed. They then decided to expel us from Europe. Since it did not work in Anatolia, they drove us out of Europe with the Lausanne Pact, because they were very well acquainted with this nation's history-making region, shaping political legacy. They were not only destroying the Ottoman Empire, they were planning to eliminate our nation's political legacy and indefinitely prevent it from starting anew. We were able to protect our country, our nation, our homeland, motherland, and we were able to protect Anatolia. We were able to hold on here. We took refuge in the last fortress. Lausanne was not enough for us, hence we were never satisfied, because we are never satisfied about being limited to Anatolia. We knew that this was a matter of condemnation, obligation, and patience. Our power and options were enough for this alone, and hence we were always patient throughout the 20th century. Yet they were taking us hostage under the name of Westernization, Europeanization, and keeping us under control in every field concerning a state's power domain. They weren't protecting us, they were keeping us under control. It was all a hostage tutelage mechanism. They had succeeded at this. They knew how to keep this country under control by including it in NATO, by making it partner with the United States, by dotting every corner of the century, every corner of the country with United States bases, by shaping the state's power domains, by controlling its economy, by determining its political actors, by formatting its internal political inclinations, by resurrecting it within the European Union mechanism, and by shaping all political circles, including liberals to conservatives. We are not allowed to return to our historical, cultural, and regional claims. We were prohibited from laying claim to our memory. They had managed to build a state mentality that estranged these values and considered it as traits. They were not protecting us. They were not. They were keeping us under control. They were all instruments of a hostage mechanism, a tutelage mechanism. We knew it all too well. We knew it all, but we did not have the strength to resist any of this throughout the 20th century. We could not allow them to destroy our homeland, our home, Anatolia, our citadel. We knew what all this meant, but neither the inadequacy of our power, not the mental enslavement, they built allowed for a new way out of this quagmire. We were trying to prevent a second collapse. We did not want to experience another service. We were not going to lose our homeland or our country. We were not going to allow them to destroy our citadel either. They would have done this. They wanted to do it. We were aware. They were trying to achieve this for 4 whole decades by striking us through terrorism. We were aware. We continued to be patient. We sought refuge in patience, bided our time, and hoped to global power shifts would open up an area of maneuver for us. We waited for history to change, for that political legacy to take action again. We had faith it would happen. We were waiting. We cannot allow anybody to boss us around. And that time has come. That time is now. That time was the time the West, hundreds of centuries long unilateral dominance ended. The time new powers took to the stage. The time the global power map changed and power vacuum format. The time is today. The now. Our memory was refreshed. Our regional belonging was revived. Our political and cultural identity was revived. and tutelage mechanism started to gradually break down, we were returning to our core, to ourselves, to our power and claims. We weren't anywhere's enemies. We did not want to fight. Please, my dear brothers and sisters, listen carefully. We did not want to fight. We only had things to say to our region, to the world. We only wanted to be ourselves. We no longer wanted a hostage nation or state. That is all. That's all. We could no longer tolerate, and we should not have tolerate others bossing us around, giving us advice. We would no longer tolerate, and we should not have tolerate others bossing us around, giving us advice. A new rise from Anatolia, our homeland. They can no longer continue this game. We were such a patient nation that we kept silent even as the empire collapsed, as the region was torn to pieces, as hundreds of thousands of our people were being slaughtered in the Balkans, as cries rose from the Caucasus, as Anatolia was being condemned to the most horrific scenarios. We kept silent. We did not cry. We kept silent. We maintained our honor and pride because we had never lived and would not live with another's mercy, compassion or kindness. Now, as history is transforming, as that political legacy is taking action, as a new rising period is starting through Anatolia, we are acting with the same honor and pride. Why do you think none of those whom we knew to be our friends supported us? Why do you think Turkey is being isolated? Do we not see how the alliances of which we are a part of are turning against us a few years prior to the end of the century long patience? Because those who wanted to drive us out of our homeland through the Sevres Pact and confine us to our homeland with the Lausanne Pact are no longer able to continue this game, and they will no longer be able to continue it either. The same circles are at the table in Sevres, same files, same showdowns on the table then apply today. They could not drive us out of homeland, our home, nor will they be able to restrict us into Anatolia from now on. Neither will they be able to keep our nation under control, nor will they be able to keep the state under control, because one by one all scenarios aimed at stopping Turkey failed and will continue to fail. All the powers and their representatives that were against us at the Sevres table are against us today. The powers that were at Anatolia's borders a century ago are once again at Anatolia's borders today. All those coming from the Aegean, from the East Mediterranean, from Iraq, from Syria, are all at the same borders again. Whatever was on the agenda a century ago, the same showdowns apply today, dear my brothers and sisters. I want you to know this important information. The same intervention that was conducted in our region a century ago is prevalent today. They have other July 15th on their agendas. Their fronts, partners inside the country are the same. They are cooperating in this country today with the same circle they cooperated with a century ago. They are cooperating today with those from the same channels with which they cooperated in politics, the economy, culture, and civilian field a century ago. Whoever resisted for this country, for these lands a century ago, are the same ones resisting again today. Whoever in the Arab world opposed us on behalf of the United Kingdom, whoever attempted results in our homeland, it is the same circle on the opposite side of the front today. July 15 was only one of these attempts. They have other July 15s on their agenda. All the powers, alliances and files on the opposite and off the table all have a front within the country. Their game is over. Their game is over. We are just getting started. I am telling you, we are just getting started and their game is over. No more game. We see this more clearly these days. We see how those striving to destroy our country, our homeland, are being unleashed on the ground. But these countries climbs and compass centuries. No plan is more powerful than these climbs. No plan is more powerful than these climbs, nor will they be ever. We are not trying to fight, but take our rightful place in the global power domain. I'm saying you again, we are not trying to fight, but take our rightful place in the global power domain. They said again, we said again, their game is over, but we are just getting started. Their game is over, dear my brothers and sisters, but we are just getting started. Thank you very much and God bless you. Have a nice day, dear my brothers and sisters.